Hey, what up, guys? It's 12 Mojo here, and I'm here for another video, guys. This time we're going to look at which is better. Is Z better or is Super better? Now, I'm going to start off, I'm going to go through some pros and cons so that you guys can fully understand exactly where my stance is with Dragon Ball Super, and hopefully we can make some sense out of exactly which one is better by going through a lot of extensive points that I gathered and thought of over the last couple of days. Now, I'm going to start off with the pros on Super, some of the good things about Super. First, I want to start off by thanking Akira for actually, saying let's continue where we left off. Now, there have been a lot of, fan made ones whilst he's gone, like Dragon Ball AF and Dragon Ball Z Absalon. But it's good that, Akira actually listened to the fans and decided, let's make new episodes. So that's a pro, that the fact that we're actually getting something. And I think another thing that's a pro is the fans behind it. I think having a loyal following and having a community really does help to sort of give inspiration and actually give that sort of motivation and that will to people to continue what they're doing. Imagine this, where you work or what you're doing for a living. Imagine if you had, a groups of people urging you to carry on what you're doing. It gives you that passion, doesn't it? It reignites that passion. So it's good to have followers, and I generally think that we've got a mix of blend here. We've got hardcore fans mixed in with some casuals, and I like that. It's a very healthy environment, in my opinion. So there's some of the pros. I think with Z, it's always had that following. I think over time, when the episode stopped, I think that's where it kind of people wanted more. They were like obsessed about it. They were like, we need more Dragon Ball Z. You know what I mean? And I think GT, no offense, it split the bench a bit. I think it split the bench in the sense that some people liked it, some people didn't. But I'm not going to go into GT today. I think that's an entirely different story altogether. Another thing that I like about Super is the speed of the episodes. Coming in every week. They're always on a weekly basis. And okay, there's the odd hiccup, but you know what? I like that little idea of giving what the users want and getting it as soon as possible. Now, imagine the scenario if the episodes weren't coming out this fast and they were once a month, once in 2 months. I think people would slowly get deterred. Okay, you'll have the hardcore fans still there, but the casual, they might shrug it off. They might just say, sorry, I won't watch it in 2 months' time. I'll just wait until a bunch of them come out and I'll watch it in a big swoop. So it's good that they're coming out in the weekly, speed. Another thing that's quite good is the tempo of the actual episodes and the way the actual episodes are compared to Z. Like I remember Z, oh mate, it was mental. Like you used to, hear screaming and powers up, people powering up for ages, and before even the battle started, it was already 15, 20 minutes in. And I like the fact that in Super, they've kind of reduced it. They've reduced it to a suitable level. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, because the thing is, it would attract more of the casual fans who obviously probably don't know much about Dragon Ball Z in the past. They know it's an anime towards sort of like the kids and stuff, and so they're thinking, okay, we don't want to watch too much screaming, it might bore them. And the thing is, nowadays, because we're sort of the younger crowd's more sort of active and more sort of, we want to see stuff quicker, I think it just makes sense the way Akira Toriyama had gone about it. Was, let's shorten it up, let's get it straight to the point. And I like that. I really do like that. That's a nice touch. Suspense, there's always that suspense, isn't there, with Super? It's like with how the Universal Tournament started off, you had that suspense of, expecting, okay, who's going to be the strongest, and, Hit obviously looking a bit powerful, he's the last one, but how powerful is he? So we had that suspense behind him, and then we had the whole Monaka thing. How strong is he? Is he strong? Is he weak? I mean, that whole suspense was building up, and it really did show that people wanted to watch it. And I think the nice addition to having those next episode previews, and the way they were put together, it was just a classic cliffhanger. You know, that sort of thing that drives people to come back next week. And I think those previews have been put together very nicely. And the thing is, in my opinion, without those previews, I think we're losing that element of, you know, keeping someone for the following week, because I think that's what it does. That next episode preview really does get people geared towards it. Like, yeah, I want to come, I want to watch next week. So these are some very good points here, very good points on the way Super has developed. Another thing which I personally think is the villains. The villains are very, amazing. Like, absolute amazing. Like, take Frost, for example. It wasn't your generic tyrant. It was a brilliant, story behind it. Like, he's this businessman and he's like this kind of, I'm an entrepreneur. I go around buying and selling land. It's brilliant. I like how it's been thought out. It was brilliant. And, the way he was winning and he was seen as a superhero and he was a cheat, it was brilliant. And Hit, before he obviously done a good guy thing, he was very intimidating. And, we thought, wait a minute, as a villain, he's got really unique abilities. He's a mercenary and his abilities are just out of this world. You know what I mean? Like the whole quick development thing and the time skip, and it's amazing. You can tell there's definitely some thought given to the villains. And don't forget, guys, I haven't forgot about Goku Black. I mean, I don't even need to give that guy an introduction. He's just in a different level in his own. And just to, tidy up on the pros, the music, the themes, guys, in the actual episodes, my goodness, oh my God, the themes, they've definitely got that Z vibe with the themes, man. I'm telling you, the themes are there, mate. The music inside of the episodes are beautiful. Like the time, do you recall that time when we first saw Zamasu with that music as he was, carrying those teas, oh my God, that really boiled me up. I was like, oh. And what about the time when Goku Black appeared and you had that music, to hit behind Goku Black? Oh, mate, this is priceless. It really is priceless. These are the good things that Super has done. Now, sadly, there are some cons, there are some negatives, and you guys probably guessed it. One of the most obvious con in terms of the negatives is the animation. Animation is just, I don't know. I mean, the hardcore fans and some of us, say, well, we can still watch the episode, which is true, but I think it's a killer for a lot of the others. Other people just can't get into it because of the animation. Because don't forget, some people are visual, and those people who are very visual are going to be impacted by the animations, especially when they're battling and, some hiccups happen on some of the sort of, the quick screens and stuff and the quick flashes in the videos where they're trying to skip out on the animation. I think Toei Animation really do need to pick it up. But, with that said, they've done really well with the Trunks arc, the start of the Trunks arc. Amazing animation. It started off amazing. I think they just need time. I think they really do need time for that. And I think the lack of time is really starting to show. Another thing that I kind of thought was a bit ridiculous was, if you're going to show episodes every week, then know what the consequences are, because it sometimes feels like everything's being rushed. Like, the animation and all that I just mentioned. I feel that if you're going to do weekly, do not miss gaps, because that can be really annoying. So personally, I'm not going to lie, even if the episodes came every 2 weeks, I'll be happy with it. The thing is, us, the consumers, we want consistency, meaning if we get something every week, it's our expectation, we want it every week. So, to avoid that, I personally would say, up the animation and give us it every 2 weeks. I'll be happy with that. It's not a problem. I think transformations is a big negative in Super. The transformations are happening way too quick. People are getting them left, right, and center, and people are just transforming like hell. I remember the amount of arcs that we went past in Dragon Ball Z before we even seen a Super Saiyan 1. Come on. And then from Super Saiyan 1 to 2, we're talking, 40 to 50 episodes at least? And now it's literally like, look at me, I'm Frieza, done 3-4 months worth of training, and now I've got a transformation. You got, you got Super Saiyan God Red. You got Super Saiyan, Blue. You've got Rose, Super Saiyan Rose. It's getting a bit ridiculous. I think the transformations, they really do need to, have that special feel for it. I think if they're doing it too regular, it loses that special element. And I think that's the problem nowadays with transformations, that they're starting to become meaningless because they're happening so often. We really do need to calm down with transformations, if I'm honest. And oh mate, power levels, that's another one that's been really wacky. Super has really just killed it off for me when it comes to power levels. I mean, how'd you get a Freezer, 3-4 months worth of training, who was barely able to hold his own against Super Saiyan 1, now all of a sudden is taking on someone who's had God's assistance to get God Key? I mean, it's that to me totally killed it. And using training, Freezer's trained for 3-4 months as an excuse does not cut it, and that's what irritated me. I would rather them just say to me that Frieza somehow had help from another god of destruction, maybe Champa. At the end of the movie, drop a quick little cliffhanger to say Champa was the one behind it because he wanted to destroy Earth to stop Beerus from having these treats. If they had said something like that, I would have been happy. But they just totally killed it for me. I mean, that's not the only example. The other example was, how did Thingy get so strong so quick? Goku Black. So it's not the first time this has happened. All of a sudden, these people are emerging, being extraordinarily powerful from out of the blue. And I find that ridiculous. I really do. Another thing is Goku is still seen as the poster boy, the main hero, and no one else is really getting the break. I mean, Vegeta's not shined yet. Seems like Goku's taking all the credit, and I think that's one of the things that's really irritating most of the fans. I think especially the sort of Vegeta followers, and and what about all the other characters? They've become irrelevant because they're not got no sort of power behind them. And I remember that Universal tournament, the Universe 6 tournament, that it was ridiculous because it was majority Goku led. Goku pretty much, led the team into victory. Piccolo, he was weak, but again, Universe 6 fighters were weak. But it was an attempt, from me, it seemed like an attempt to get them to be relevant. But at the end of that arc, honestly, I felt like the show is just mainly being run by Goku and then followed by Vegeta. And what totally killed it for me was Vegeta when he was fighting Goku Black, and he just totally took an ass kicking, and Goku Black is on base form, and I just think that totally just killed it for me. I think it's pathetic, really, to be fair. And the hierarchy, the God hierarchy, it's constantly getting introduced, and it's like we can never know who's the most powerful. First it was Beerus, then it was Whis, then it was this, then it was... It's like we kind of have to draw a line here and say, is Zeno really powerful, or have you got someone else behind Zeno? I think it's getting frustrating, and in Z, it kind of had that element, but not to this extent. I think a lot of the things that Z had, I think Super have blown it way out of proportions in terms of the transformations, in terms of the hierarchies of powers. And Goku still is the poster boy on both sides. I mean, okay, it wasn't as bad because Gohan took the credit for the Cell match. But and another final thing I need to say about the cons is the battles. The battles don't seem very impactful on the environment. Like these guys who are supposedly sort of got this sort of God key power, it's nothing compared to the destruction from Namek and the androids. I mean, I saw more destruction from people who are at Super Saiyan 1 and 2 level versus God. I'm confused. I just don't understand it. Like, you guys have got all this abundance of power. People are flicking their fingers, destroying planets. And you guys are actually fighting on a planet without any destruction or very limited destruction. That's another thing. I think the realism side of things that we're losing. So I'm not going to lie, there are a lot more cons than pros. I think, in conclusion, guys, just to conclude it off, I think Z is better for now. Until a lot of these cons are actually sort of, somehow rectified, the animations, making sense of the power levels and all the rest of it, I don't think, Super will be anywhere near sort of like Z yet. But you know what? It's got some good things going for it, the music and everything. Just let me know what you guys think about, the two. Do you think Super's better or, Z? Drop me a comment, guys. Definitely want to hear it, yeah? And don't forget subscribing, yeah?